Sierra Richardson.
I'm Beverly Graham.
And I'm Oriana Vickers.
And I'm Catherine Broomfield.
Welcome to the Green Room,
where our news is real.
Real.
Well, ladies, today our topic we're going to be discussing is personal rights versus professional rights.
Right.
We have a few clips that we want to discuss with you guys and our audience, and so
let's get right into it.
All right.
Our first video is on Atlanta news anchor Sharon Reed. She responded to an email from a viewer who referred to her as the N-word. What do you all like to say?
So you're saying that she literally clapped back at the response?
No, actually, she handled it in a very mature way. She didn't necessarily clap back. It was more of a response. She didn't retaliate in the typical aggressive way. She didn't act on emotions, but she acted with her job in mind.
You know what, guys? Let's just roll the clip.
Confusion behind the scenes. A woman by the name of Kathy Ray emailed me. We're going to put that email on the screen and then I'll comment after it. But I think it's fair for people to see what she wrote and get my response. I'll leave it at that. You need to be fired for the race-baiting comment you made tonight. It's okay for blacks to discuss certain subjects, but not whites. Really? You are what I call a... Now, she tried to write the N-word, but she spelled it. I wish we would just put it on the screen. It's after 9 o'clock at night. People have the right to see it. She wrote N-I-G-E-R, not a black person. You are a racist. N-I-G-E-R. You are what's wrong with the world. And so I would say to Kathy a couple of things. Number one, you mischaracterize what I said. I didn't say that white people couldn't talk about race. Quite the contrary. We think that race is an authentic discussion to have. It's one we're having tonight because it's one many of you are talking about at home. And it's one that has clearly entered the Atlanta mayor's race. And that's why behind the scenes, my colleagues and I, white and black, we decided, hey, let's go for it, right? Because we do try to keep it real here. And I think we do a very good job of it. So I think when arguing with somebody, you have to be careful not to mischaracterize their viewpoint. So I won't mischaracterize your view either, Kathy Ray. I get it. On December 5th, 2017, you think it's okay to call this journalist.
So what do you guys think?
I feel like her professional rights were violated. I feel like her as a journalist, the lady calling her the N-word, especially talking about such a serious topic, I don't think it was the viewer's place to make that assumption about her. And I think she handled it in a good way, and she felt also that her personal rights were being ignored too.
I think this was a very big struggle against personal rights versus professional rights, because even as professionals, you have to deal with any lashback from the community that you're going to have to deal with in any setting, whether it be personal or in the professional field. So I think she did carry herself, as you guys say, as a professional, well-equipped black woman. That's
what you feel, Kat?
Yeah, I'm glad you all waited for me.
Right.
Save the best for last.
You're right.
And I agree with all you said. And keeping in mind of a job, being professional at 9 to 5, I want to remember my professional obligations, but my personal obligations start at 5:01. And yeah, that's all I'm gonna say on that one.
Your personal rights come back at 5:01.
They come back at 5:01.
But you're signing a contract, so you're in the public light either way.
Right.
Representative.
You're right.
And so, as we talked about in Dr. Hunter's class, in her class, she did tell us those who put themselves in the professional light or any type of light as far as media goes, you're considered somewhat of a public figure,
right?
Whether it be for temporary reasons or for long-term reasons. So she is on the news. She is in the public eye. She is known as she's not just a weather person in the background. She's an anchor. She represents a brand. So even at 5:01, she still can't, she can't pop up.
Right.
You're absolutely right. And that's where I should be more like Sharon. And, I think that's why I'm sitting here now. We always have to find the equilibrium in things.
Okay. Well, that was our first portion of the segment. Rolling into our next one.
Our second video of the day is on Laura Ingraham. She responds to LeBron James and Kevin Durant and telling them to shut up and dribble.
Let's roll the clip.
NBA superstar LeBron James is talking politics again, and this time it's R-rated. Here's his barely intelligible, not to mention ungrammatical take on President Trump in a new ESPN podcast.
The number one job in America, the point of person, is someone who doesn't understand the people and really don't give a about the people.
LeBron and Kevin, you're great players, but no one voted for you. Millions elected Trump to be their coach. So keep the political commentary to yourself, or as someone once said, shut up and dribble.
Ariana, I think you should take this one first.
Okay, honestly, I immediately was upset. I'm very upset watching the video. It's not so much about her saying shut up and dribble. It's certain words that she used as if, why do they talk like that? In reference to LeBron James kept saying and to me that's just a problem within itself, because it shows where we are now, even in 2018, where we constantly have to work extra hard and work harder than everyone else around us to make a name for ourselves. It's very sickening, and I don't like it. And that's just, she should have been on some type of administrative leave, not even administrative leave, some type of suspension or something, because her comments were very racist. They were very racist comments, and if it would have been anyone else, any other person, man or woman of color, say anything like that about a white American player, of course they would have been suspended, because everybody would have had so much to say about it. So that's just.
I do feel she definitely crossed that boundary. This goes back into our main topic, our overarching topic for today's segment, which is personal rights versus professional. I don't feel she had the professional right to go and belittle two very well-known, hardworking players, and then be allowed to even air this on television and not reap any type of consequences for her commentary. As my partner here, Ariana, said, had it been the reverse,
Could have been totally different.
the person would be out of a job.
Totally different.
The person would have been out of a job. So I do feel as though we definitely have a lot more work. Even though we have made progress, we still have so much more work to be done when it comes to equality, and even just the small respect of, if you don't agree with me, you don't have to belittle me in order to make your opinion come across.
I disagree.
What do you think, Sierra?
I definitely agree with you. I feel like her as a reporter and as anchor for that network, she didn't have the right to put her personal opinions on how she felt about LeBron within the discussion. She pretty much just could have said, I didn't like what he handled that, and that be that. But you tell him to shut up and dribble, and your derogatory terms that you would use towards him, it just wasn't fair. And I think you just have to make sure, as a reporter, that you stick with the facts. And she definitely just put her own personal twist in it, and pretty much just expressed how she felt, and it was wrong.
Well, for Laura Ingram, we do not agree with any of the statements that you made, and personally, I don't care for you.
So our final video for today is on Jamil Hill when she visits The View to talk about her comments on Trump.
Let's roll the clip.
Again, I think, and this is the problem with Twitter, as we all know, Twitter is not a great place for nuance. I wasn't specifically calling for a boycott of the NFL or of Jerry Jones, but I understand how it could be interpreted that way. And, let's just keep it 100. My employer is in business with the NFL. And some of those same advertisers that Jerry Jones has, they also are advertisers of ESPN. So I very much understood why I was suspended. It was not related to the Trump tweets. It was more or less related to that and putting the company in a tough position. You asked me, would I do it again? Yeah. And I would just do it a different way. I wouldn't take it to Twitter. What I should have done, especially because we were having all these national conversations, is gone to ESPN and asked if I could write a column about it instead, to kind of, at least in a more widely, with more breadth and more depth, explain my position.
As I said earlier in today's show, we shouldn't act off of emotions, and that's what Mrs. Hill did. But she had a right to, but she had to adhere to her professional obligations at the same time. But it's funny how people of color are disciplined for their actions, whereas our counterparts are not. For instance, we have this president in office who makes several comments, maybe twice, 3 times a day on Twitter, and we don't see any consequences. He's not removed from office. His cabinet is still in office. What's the issue? Why do we always get disciplined? Why doesn't our counterparts get disciplined for their actions? something we had to deal with, and it's quite sickening. But, you know, that's the society we live in.
So that's your take on it?
That's my take.
All right, Sierra?
Well, I just feel like as a professional, you have to just be mindful of what you say because people are looking at her. Some people may look at her as a role model. So it's like certain viewpoints like that, people are like, I don't know if she should have that privilege to do that. Granted, she does have a personal right because she is a citizen, but at the same time, with her representing ESPN, it's not a good look to speak on situations like that. So I feel like she didn't really make a good decision, especially with her representing ESPN. So hopefully she did learn from this. But yeah, I don't think it was a smart decision to pretty much explain how she felt about Trump on Twitter.
You know, when we sign our names on these contracts, we have to be mindful of the decisions we make because not only are we representing ourselves, we're representing our coworkers, our supervisor, the CEO, and what have you, and the brand itself. So
I think that also that's something that we didn't touch on when we were discussing it, and I also do agree with you ladies, is that she was suspended when she started reaching into the pockets of the ESPN advertisers. So this all goes back to a brand. This is money being made.
Right.
You don't mess with people's money. You all know this.
right.
You start messing with somebody's money,
They probably
you're in a world of trouble. So I don't think necessarily the Trump tweets were troublesome because even after that she wasn't put on suspension. She was probably given like a slap. She was like given a slap on the wrist kind of thing. But once she started messing with the company's actual income and as far as how that company thrives, that is when they had to step in and say,
no, we can't have this.
No. Thank you for tuning in with us in the green room. We hope to see you guys again next time. Please give up for a clap for our viewers, you guys. Shout out to 2018 graduates, Kat. And
I'm Sierra Richardson.
I'm Beverly Graham.
I'm Oriana Vickers.
And I'm Catherine Broomfield.
Sis God, black boy, sis God, black boy. Yeah.